My phone buzzes for the 5th time in 15 minutes, the screen lighting up with a name I haven't spoken out loud in over a year. Dad. I hover my finger over the red Ignore button and press it with deliberate ease. The buzzing stops, but I know better than to believe it's over. 3 seconds later, a new notification pings. Email from Walter Monroe. Subject line: Your sister needs you. Last chance. I open it. The text is brief, cold. Brielle's wedding is the most important event of her life. Be there or forget about any future support. I don't even realize I'm holding my breath until my lungs scream for air. Another notification. Voicemail, this time. I tap play. Natalie, it's your father. I don't know what game you're playing, but this has gone on long enough. Your sister's wedding is in 2 weeks. The festivities begin this weekend. If you can't put aside your grievances for Brielle's special moment, then don't expect another dime of support from this family. Your mother is beside herself. Call me back. Immediately. His voice is as commanding as ever. Not a hint of doubt, not a shred of remorse. Just threats dressed in obligation. I laugh. A sharp, bitter sound that cuts the silence of my apartment like a knife. Rising from my chair, I cross the room and pull open the coat closet. Behind a row of neatly folded wool, and down hangs a single picture frame. My diploma. Still hidden, still unseen. Natalie Grace Monroe. Bachelor of Science in Data Analytics, summa cum laude. It's been collecting dust in the dark, while Brielle's participation trophies and high school musical posters were enshrined like relics in the family museum back home. My fingers tremble, not with fear, but fury wrapped in restraint. 3rd grade, 5 perfect A's on my report card. Mom didn't even look up from her magazine. That same night, the house erupted with applause because Brielle got a rainbow ribbon for Best Attitude in Chorus. 10th grade, I won 1st place in the state science fair for analyzing pollution trends in Missouri's river systems. My parents were nowhere to be found. They'd driven 3 hours to watch Brielle play soccer. She scored once. They talked about it for weeks. Then senior year, the University of Minnesota acceptance letter, full scholarship. I remember Mom's frown, her voice soft and worried. But honey, what will that do to Brielle's self-esteem if you go far away? Dad didn't even lower his newspaper. We've discussed this. You're staying local. End of story. So I nodded, obedient, invisible. And 2 weeks later, I boarded a Greyhound to Minneapolis with 2 suitcases, a forged community college schedule, and a dorm room that didn't exist. I left behind a fake trail and the last of my illusions. Now, I make 6 figures. I manage my own team. I have $138,000 in savings and enough career capital to walk away from any table that disrespects me. But they don't know that. Not yet. I walk back to my desk, the city glowing behind me. I open my laptop and book a first-class ticket to Missouri. If they want me back, they'll get me, but not the Natalie they remember. This time, I'm not coming home to fold wedding programs and smile quietly in the corner. This time, I'm coming to be seen. The gravel crunches under the tires of my rental as I pull into the driveway of the house I once tiptoed through like a ghost. It doesn't look like home anymore. It looks like a wedding catalog exploded on the lawn. Cascading white roses, ivory swags draped across the porch railings, candles in hurricane jars lining the steps. A shrine, not to love, but to Brielle, the golden idol at the center of it all. The front door swings open before I even reach it. My mother, Lynette, stands there, polished and pastel, every hair in place. Her arms spread just wide enough to suggest a hug, but not so far that emotion might slip in. Natalie, you made it. The hug lands like a formality, stiff, shallow, gone in a second. Decided to support your sister after all, she adds, already turning away. Inside, The air smells like vanilla candles and forced celebration. The walls are plastered with seating charts, vision boards, and glittering table-setting mock-ups. I barely have time to breathe before he appears. Walter Monroe, clipboard in hand, reading glasses perched on his nose. No greeting, no warmth. Just, "Good, you're here. The welcome bags need assembling and the place cards are wrong. Brielle wants them redone by 4. He shoves the clipboard at me like I'm an intern late on a deadline. "I just walked in the door," I say. "And now you have something useful to do," he replies, already turning away. Then the Queen herself descends the stairs, phone glued to her ear, voice shrill with stress. "No, I said cascading, not clustered. This is literally ruining everything." Brielle in full bridal panic. When she finally notices me, she offers a half-second air kiss and a breathless, "Thank God you're here." Mom's useless with the seating chart, and the caterer is threatening to quit. No hello. No welcome. Just orders. And then comes Chase Dorian, her fiancé. He arrives at 6:30 sharp, all gleaming teeth and expensive wine. Handsome in a way that screams Photoshop ready, and just as fake. "The mysterious sister," he says, gripping my hand too tightly. "The computer genius." "Product analyst," I correct. "Tech stuff. We should talk shop," he winks. At dinner, he holds court like a TED Talk dropout, tossing around crypto jargon and exclusive networks. I let him talk. Then I ask, "Which exchanges do you trade through?" He pauses. Just a second. Long enough. "Private platforms, decentralized, global reach," he recovers. Walter scowls at me across the table. "Natalie, not everyone wants a business seminar with their meal." I lean back, silent, as the room moves on without me. Once again, I am both too much and never enough. The study still smells like lemon oil and arrogance. I slip inside under the excuse of looking for more wedding programs, but really, I'm hunting. My fingers skim along the mahogany desk until they land on a manila folder buried beneath checklists and seating charts. It's the Monroe house deed, along with refinancing documents dated just 3 weeks ago. My eyes narrow. The mortgage had been nearly paid off. Now? A fresh loan, 6 digits deep. I flip through the attached notes. The lender? A small firm I've never heard of. The purpose? Vague. Private investment partnership. That's not just risky, that's reckless. Voices float from the kitchen. I move toward the vent in the hall, like I used to as a kid when I wanted to know what they said behind closed doors. "Walter, are you sure about this?" Mom's voice is tight. "That's our savings. My retirement." Chase promised. 20% returns minimum, Dad replies, clipped and defensive. "It's the future of wealth, Lynette. You wouldn't understand." I clench my fists. They've mortgaged the house and gutted their accounts for a man who talks like a podcast ad for Ponzi schemes. Outside, in the back garden, Aunt June arranges some hydrangeas with the careful precision of someone trying not to scream. "You see it too, don't you?" I ask. She doesn't flinch, just nods. "He's too polished, too vague. Your father thinks I'm jealous because I warned him." She lowers her voice. "The Wilsons down the street lost everything last year to a smooth talker named, what was it, Ethan something?" My blood runs cold. As if on cue, Mr. Carter, my high school science teacher, calls out from across the fence. "Natalie Monroe, still can't believe you ended up in that top analytics program. You always were the sharpest in the bunch." I smile, tight-lipped. My own parents never said those words, but a teacher I haven't seen in years remembers. I spend the rest of the day digging, background checks, public records, message boards, and there he is. Chase Dorian was once Ethan Lang, then Cameron Laird, then Daniel Chase. Same grin, same scams, same ghosting act 3 days before a wedding. Just to confirm, I stopped by Rosie's Cafe, the one I used to study in every Saturday. Darla, the waitress, who once slipped me extra fries, peers at my screen. He called himself Cameron, but that's him. Took my cousin for 60 grand. Disappeared the week before their wedding. Her voice goes quiet. Broke her heart. Emptied her accounts. I close my laptop slowly. Chase didn't just pick the wrong family. He picked me. The living room feels colder than I remember. Maybe it's the silence. Or maybe it's the way everyone freezes when I enter with a folder tucked beneath my arm like a scalpel. I place it gently on the coffee table, like a bomb I'm about to detonate. We need to talk, I say. No one moves. Mom perches on the edge of the couch, eyes darting. Dad lowers his newspaper just enough to glare. Brielle, still glowing from a recent spray tan, rests her manicured fingers on the arm of the chair like she's holding court. Chase stands by the fireplace, wine glass in hand, the picture of polite interest. For now. I open the folder and begin. Chase Dorian is a lie. His real name has been Ethan Lang, and Cameron Laird, and Daniel Chase, 3 aliases, 3 different states, 3 women who were all left heartbroken, bankrupt, and alone 3 days before their weddings. I spread out printed screenshots, grainy security footage, and a signed statement from Cynthia, his last fiancée. He disappears just before the vows. Every time. Right after securing access to finances. Brielle lets out a strangled laugh. You're joking. This is some sick joke. She snatches a photo and crumples it. You're doing this now? To me? I'm trying to protect you, I say, my voice low, steady. He's not who he says he is. Dad slams his hand on the table. Enough. Natalie, you've always hated your sister's happiness. This is nothing but jealousy. Chase is building wealth. You don't understand investments at this level. My gaze cuts to Chase, who smiles coolly. Look, it's an easy mix-up. I have one of those faces. People confuse me with others all the time. You think this is a confusion? I hiss. You conned 3 women out of their life savings. I have their police reports, their statements, their proof. Mom rises, panic in her voice. Sweetheart, maybe you're just overwhelmed. You've always been so intense. I straighten, no more folding myself to fit their comfort. I didn't go to community college, I say. The room goes still. I got a full scholarship to the University of Minnesota. I graduated summa cum laude. I'm a lead product analyst at a top firm. I make 6 figures. I've supported myself since I was 18. Brielle's mouth opens, closes. Dad looks like I slapped him. I became someone, I say quietly. While you were too busy clapping for Brielle's dance recitals and calling me dramatic, I gather the photos back into the folder. This is your last chance to see the truth before it's too late. After he drains you, I won't be the one crying in this room. No one speaks. Not one word. So I do what I've always done when faced. With silence, I rise and I leave. But this time I don't look back. 2 days before the wedding, my phone won't stop ringing. It vibrates across the granite kitchen counter like it's trying to crawl away from the chaos it carries. I don't answer. I sip my coffee in the golden quiet of my apartment, letting the steam warm my face as Minneapolis wakes below me. But when the 4th voicemail chimes, something in me says, listen. I press play. Natalie, he's gone. My father's voice is hoarse, stripped of its usual control. Chase. He disappeared last night. Call us back. The second message follows. All the accounts are empty. Every cent. Your mother's retirement. The house. His voice breaks off. Hollow silence where anger used to be. The 3rd voicemail is worse. My mother crying. They said it's a civil matter. No written contract. No case. Please, Maddie. We need you. Please. She hasn't called me Maddie since I was 10. Then the final text arrives. From Brielle. Just 5 words. You were right. Please help. I stare at the screen. It's not vindication I feel. It's heavier than that. They built a life on ignoring me. And now that life is caving in, and they want my hands to hold up the rubble. I call Joanna. She answers on the second ring. No hello. Just instinct. You sound like you're carrying something sharp. I do. It's called restraint. They finally saw what I tried to show them. Chase is gone. With everything. I pause. Now they want me to come back. To fix it. Joanna is quiet for a beat. Then, you can walk away. You owe them nothing. I know. And I do. But somewhere inside, a little girl who was once left waiting on a church stage with a first-place ribbon and no audience whispers, just once, let them see who I am. I open my laptop and book another flight. First class, same as before. But this time I pack lighter. 3 days. No more, no less. Not to be their savior, not to be their scapegoat, but to make one thing absolutely clear. The girl they erased is gone. The woman they need answers to no one. The wedding tent is half collapsed when I arrive. White fabric sagging like a defeated sail. The roses are browning at the edges, petals curling as if trying to hide from the sun. The illusion is over. The fantasy they built around Brielle, around Chase, around a picture-perfect life, it's unraveling one silk ribbon at a time. My mother opens the door with puffy eyes and bare lips, aged 5 years in 2 days. You came, she breathes, like a prayer. Behind her, my father, is pacing, phone in hand, suit jacket wrinkled, mask of control slipping. Chloe's curled on the couch in sweatpants, one of my old high school shirts clinging to her like a lifeline. Her eyes are red, her expression, desperation wearing pride like a threadbare coat. We thought you might help, my father says, glancing at my watch, my bag, my shoes. Not me. Until we get this sorted. My mother wrings her hands. And maybe say something, so people don't think we were fools. I'll help, I say calmly, setting my bag on the coffee table. But not the way you expect. Their eyes light up, too soon. I'll connect you with a lawyer who specializes in financial fraud, I continue. I know someone who can guide you through the police reports properly, and I'll cover the second mortgage, under conditions. Chloe's voice cuts through the room like a blade. So that's it? You came back just to gloat? She stands, trembling. You've always been cold. You hate that I'm the one they cared about. I look her dead in the eyes. Cared about? When I won the district spelling bee, they skipped the ceremony to watch you twirl a baton. When I won state for my science project, they chose your choir concert instead. When I graduated, they left early to do your prom hair. And Christmas? I got a gift card with the wrong name on it. The silence is unbearable until Aunt June steps forward. She's not exaggerating. I saw it all. You made her invisible and expected her to stay grateful for the scraps. I place a thick packet of papers on the table. I'll pay off the second mortgage. I'll consolidate your credit card debt. But only if you sign this. My father lifts the first page. His hands shake. An acknowledgement of emotional neglect? My mother gasps. Not for shame, I say, voice unwavering. For truth. He wants to refuse. I see it. But he doesn't. Not when the numbers become real. 10 minutes later, their names, Walter, Lynette, and Brielle Monroe, sit in ink across the bottom of the page. For the first time in my life, they had to acknowledge I existed. 1 year later, I no longer live in the shadows of someone else's house or history. My new home in St. Paul is a craftsman bungalow with thick wooden beams, wide windows, and a backyard that hums with the quiet strength of things grown by hand. My diploma, once hidden behind winter coats like a secret I wasn't allowed to be proud of, now hangs in the center of my office wall, framed in walnut and sunlight. Natalie Grace Monroe, Bachelor of Science, summa cum laude. A truth that no longer needs to whisper. My mentorship program has flourished. What began as late-night strategy calls with one nervous college applicant has become a movement. First-gen women now walk into interviews and classrooms knowing their worth, not asking for permission to exist. I teach financial literacy at the community center every Wednesday, showing young women the power of their own numbers. And every time one of them raises her hand and says, "But what if they don't believe in me?" I smile and say, "Then you build it anyway." A letter from my therapist sits in a neat folder on my bookshelf. Patient demonstrates consistent growth in setting and maintaining emotional boundaries. Significant detachment from toxic familial validation patterns. It's clinical and absolutely beautiful. Aunt June still texts monthly updates. The house is being reappraised. Brielle's working part-time at the bank. My father's pride is silent now. My mother's anxiety louder than ever. But not once have they reached out. The boundary holds, and I have never felt more free. Last month, I was handed an award on stage beneath a standing ovation for the very program I created out of the loneliness they gave me. The applause felt warm, but the real weight was in the glass plaque that now sits beside a fresh file, the Monroe Visibility Scholarship, for high-achieving students whose families never saw them. At twilight, I water my garden, zucchini vines, tomato stalks, herbs in clay pots, and pause beside a rose bush I cut back hard last fall. I feared it might not return. But it did. Stronger. Wilder. Blooming. My fingers graze its stem. Some things grow back fiercer after they've been cut, and so did I, rooted, seen, not just surviving, thriving.